Hi everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the language of business. Today we're diving into a proxy statement for Universal Health Realty Income Trust, or UHT. Think of a proxy statement as a report card and rulebook all rolled into one. It tells you what the company did, how they plan to do things in the future, and what decisions you as a shareholder get to vote on. It might sound dry, but hidden inside are clues to the company's health and direction, and trust me, the details are going to surprise you. I hear whispers of healthcare, real estate, and votes that could shake things up. This is a definitive proxy statement, meaning it's the final version. The company is holding their annual meeting on June 11, 2025. This year, it's going to be a virtual meeting. If you were a shareholder on April 14, 2025, you get to vote. So what's on the ballot? First, shareholders get to elect 3 members to the Board of Trustees. These trustees will serve until 2028. Next, there's an advisory vote on executive compensation. This is a chance to say whether you agree with how much the top executives are being paid. Then they'll vote to ratify, which is to approve. The selection of KPMG LLP as the company's accounting firm for 2025. And finally, shareholders will vote on any other business that comes up at the meeting, even if you don't plan to attend the virtual meeting. UHT encourages everyone to vote either by phone, internet, or mail. Want to dig deeper? The proxy statement and annual report are available online. This is part of an effort to be more environmentally friendly and save on printing cost. Now let's tackle some common questions. First, why are shareholders receiving these materials? It's because the Board of Trustees is asking for your proxy, which is basically your permission to vote on your behalf at the annual meeting. If you own shares, you have a right to participate in these decisions. What's the point of the annual meeting? It's where shareholders get to vote on important issues like electing trustees, approving executive pay, and ratifying the selection of the company's accounting firm. It's also a chance to discuss the company's performance and ask questions. Why did some shareholders get a notice about the online proxy materials instead of a full set of documents in the mail? That's because the company is following SEC rules that allow them to provide proxy materials online, saving paper and money. Who gets to attend the annual meeting? Anyone who was a shareholder on April 14, 2025, which is the record date. How do you attend and vote at the online meeting? If your shares are registered directly in your name, you're a shareholder of record. If your shares are held by a bank or broker, you're a beneficial owner. Beneficial owners will need to register in advance to vote. Having trouble accessing the virtual meeting, make sure you have a strong internet connection and an updated browser. What are your voting choices and what does it take to get a proposal approved? For electing trustees, you can vote for, against, or abstain for each nominee. Approving the compensation of the executives or the accounting firm requires a full vote from the majority of shares that actually vote. Abstaining won't affect the outcome. What are the voting rights? Each share gets 1 vote on all matters. What's the deadline to submit proposals for the next annual meeting? Shareholder proposals for the 2026 proxy statement must be received by December 26, 2025. Let's look at who owns the most shares. BlackRock owns 15.4%, Vanguard owns 11.9%, and Universal Health Services Inc. owns 5.69%. As of the end of 2024, there were just over 92,000 shares available for future issuance under the company's equity compensation plans. Time for the main event, the proposals. First up, Proposal 1 is the election of 3 Class 3 trustees. The board recommends voting for Michael Allen Dom, James P. Morey, and Rebecca A. Guzman. These trustees will serve until the 2028 annual meeting. Let's look at these nominees. Michael Allen Dom is the owner of Allen Dom Real Estate. He also served as a council member at large for the city of Philadelphia. James P. Morey formerly served as Executive Vice President, Chief Marketing and Brand Officer for Wawa Inc. Rebecca A. Guzman is a partner at Duane Morris LL, where she co-chairs the Mergers Acquisition Division. Proposal 2 is an advisory vote on executive compensation. The board recommends voting for this proposal. This is your chance to say whether you agree with how much the top executives are being paid. Proposal 3 is the ratification of KPMG LP as the company's independent registered public accounting firm for the year ending December 31, 2025. The board recommends voting for this proposal. Basically, you're voting to approve the company's choice of its outside auditors. Time to meet the team. Alan B. Miller is the chairman of the board, CEO and president. Charles F. Boyle is the senior vice president and CFO. Cheryl K. Ramagano is the senior vice president of operations, treasurer and secretary. And Carmen J. Peterson is the vice president of acquisitions and development. The company has an advisory agreement with UHS of Delaware Inc., which is a subsidiary of UHS. They calculate the advisory fee as 0.70% of UHT's average invested real estate assets. UHT compares their advisory fee and other administrative expenses to a peer group of other healthcare REITs, or real estate investment trusts. In 2024, UHT's operating expenses were 7.9% of revenues, while the peer group was 7.1%. On June 5, 2024, the company granted performance-based restricted stock to the executives, with an aggregate value of $562,549 for the group. The grants were made at the minimum level because the company's performance as measured by average total shareholder return was below its peer group and the REIT index. Here's a quick look at the summary compensation table for the executives. In 2024, there were no option awards. Alan Miller's stock awards vested at a value of $159,017. Now let's talk about what the trustees get paid. In 2024, Robert McCadden received $45,392 in fees, while the lowest paid were Mark Miller at $0. Here's the tricky part. UHT has a deep relationship with Universal Health Services, or UHS. UHS is their advisor and a major tenant. Many of UHT's properties are leased to UHS subsidiaries. This means that a significant portion of UHT's revenue comes from UHS. These relationships mean there are potential conflicts of interest. To manage these, all transactions between UHT and UHS must be approved by the independent trustees. UHT says that they are committed to sustainability. Their capital reinvestment projects support energy efficiency. Their newest developments are built to code with sustainability and green building practices mandated. These include things like using LED lighting, upgrading HVAC systems, and using water-saving devices. UHT states that its officers and personnel are all employees of UHS of Delaware. They have a policy of equal opportunity. The Audit Committee provides oversight of the Trust's accounting functions and internal controls. KPMG served as their independent accounting firm and received $950,255 for their services in 2024. Now, stepping back and looking at the big picture, Universal Health Realty Income Trust presents a mixed bag. The company is heavily reliant on Universal Health Services, and that's a big risk. If UHS were to run into trouble, it could have a major impact on UHT as working to modernize and improve its properties, and that's great. It increases their value and attracts tenants, plus they are showing efforts to reduce their environmental impact through the ongoing environmental and sustainable investment projects and new leases requiring those implementations. In conclusion, UHT's future depends on its ability to manage risks, diversify its tenant base, and maintain a strong relationship with its key partner, UHS. Whether the scales of the balance will tip towards one side more than the other remains to be seen. What do you think? Is this a company you'd invest in? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of corporate filings. See you in the next one.